with Zach Williams, and Zach offers the culinary art part of 1515 Gallery. And he was working, and I said, do you have time for an impromptu? He said, yeah, I'm cool for doing one. And I wanted to talk with him about something that's kind of been on my mind. Everything is now fast. We got fast fashion. We got fast food. Everything is built with planned obsolescence in mind. The one area where planned obsolescence can't invade is good food, high quality food.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk with you about, what inspires you to take such care and craft with prepping food for people, and has that always been a part of you?
Um, it's not. It hasn't. Growing up, my parents didn't cook a whole lot. My grandparents did, and so I have very fond memories of growing up. With a big breakfast in the morning cooked by my grandparents and all my cousins there. So, that's I think where my passion comes from. Um, and as far as attention to detail and you know, really nailing down what things I like to do and what I don't. I guess that just comes from years of experience. You know, you can make about any recipe work if you, uh, you know, take the right care or precaution, I guess.
Well, it's always been strange to me. You got a chef, you have a cook.
Hmm,
You got people that cook things because Waffle House has cooks.
sure.
But then there's people that I'm an artist and I see and taste the artistry of food. And I've come in here, I hear you, just like when you were serving the pasta, it means something to you.
Yeah.
The way it looks, the way it tastes, the balance and all that.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like having a palate the same way that an artist does.
for sure.
Yeah. Where do you see that fitting in this fast world? Like,
Yeah, I mean, you said it good. Some things take time, and luckily, food is one of those things. You can taste a pasta that was, dried pasta, and they made it in 15 minutes, and, it was a bagged sauce, so it was already ready to go. You can taste that.
yeah.
Uh, and the more you pay attention to your food, the more you can discern differences. So, some people are just happy with the $5 ready to go, ready to eat. But I think they pay less attention to their food in general.
You a big movie watcher?
Yeah, I like some movies.
So you're familiar with Tubi, right?
Oh yeah,
It's like notorious for, I mean, it's got some great movies on there, but some of them are bad.
yeah,
Well, I was talking with a friend about how bad the movies are, but you keep watching them.
sure.
So, and I guess I'm drawing a parallel between fast food and consumption of films. And my friend was like, when I get started watching them, I can't stop watching them. So they just do this marathon of bad movies, and they don't remember the names of anybody that are in these movies. It's not like you have Tom Cruise or Denzel Washington. They're just one after the other. And that's kind of the same way I think when we talk culinary that things are. You remember that one steak
Mm,
that was incredible,
yeah,
but you don't remember how many tostino, what do they call it? The little pizza rolls?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you eat like 5 of those. You eat 5 of those,
Right.
and you don't remember anything except that they were pizza rolls.
Yeah.
So I think, when I think about food, I mean, not only the quality of the food, but the memories that are around it. I go and grab when I was eating just, hamburgers and all that before I switched up diet, I would go get a hamburger from Tucker's. I don't remember, no disrespect to Tucker's, no disrespect to any fast food chain, but I don't remember the food. It was a burger.
Yeah.
That's all it was. But I remember every steak I ate that was prepared in a way that was different
Yeah.
and that somebody actually cared about.
For sure.
And I kind of think that it ties together memories, just
Yeah.
all of that. I remember. I remember one steak in particular, um, and what I was doing at that time, as weird as that sounds, but barbecuing and grilling, it's like it's Saturday. That's
Yeah.
that's all it is.
Yeah, food is definitely a glue to adhere your memories together, you know. Because yeah, some of my favorite, I used to throw July 4th parties back in the day.
Yeah.
That was like a big deal for me, and all my friends would come through. And, while the food wasn't necessarily the main component of that experience, it did tie a lot of things together and instill in my memory, that hanging out around the grill. Yeah, so that's really powerful. And with movies, we kind of live in a culture of like absurdity right now.
Yeah.
It's just like the more absurd, the better. So like some of those like B horror films and stuff are the most fun to watch because it's just like, what are they gonna do next? Um, and I don't know if you can, I think certain things parallel between the two worlds, but yeah,
Well, I think about the absurdity of food. We put I mean, basically, you got corn syrup and things that aren't even sweet.
right.
So it's like this
That's
overload.
the bad absurdity. Fortunately.
Well, it's an overload of things that we don't need. And you know, I think whether you're looking at a simple meal that's made with actual real ingredients,
Yeah.
or some kind of creative experience that's made with just authentic, just paint and canvas,
Yeah.
whatever the medium. I think there's something to authenticity.
For sure. Yeah,
And
some of the best recipes are 6, 7 ingredients, and you just do it right, and it's great.
so I went to Italy many years back, and we got to Rome. I hated Rome.
Hmm.
Yeah, everybody thought that I was an African vendor trying to sell them something.
Oh, weird, I'm sorry.
Well, and then they would be like, "Oh man, I don't want to," but I'm like, "No, no, 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 I'm American." And then they would get sick of me for an entirely different piece because it's like, okay, he's American, so he's a tourist now. So it was difficult for me to get directions,
Yeah.
and I didn't speak Italian. If you know Spanish, then you can, and I don't speak either of them. But I noticed I would, my whole idea of Italian food was so different when before I went over. And I ate 3 meals a day there, right? And somehow I managed it. It was, God, I forgot how long we were there, but I lost weight.
Yeah.
And, I walk everywhere. I'm like a professional pedestrian. Before the Uber came, I walked everywhere and I enjoyed walking.
Yeah.
But I noticed that because their foods they were actual food, that what you were talking about, you can tell when something came out of the bag
Yeah.
and when something didn't. I noticed that the ingredients, I had pasta and marinara sauce, and I had the just the plain table wine. I never got a headache
Yeah.
from the wine. I'm having 2 glasses of this. Normally, I'll get a headache after a while. It's like occupational hazard. If you're gonna have some drinks, you're gonna, but I noticed the food tasted honest.
Yeah.
And when you have, something like what you're doing with the bistro and you caring, it's kind of giving them an experience as far as what authenticity should taste like,
Sure.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people travel to Italy and eat like pastas and different things and pizzas and bread and they're walking around, there's still plenty of energy and having fun. It's like it is the ingredients, it's the ingredient list. Looking at a bread that's made in stores that find at the grocery store, especially in Oklahoma. If the ingredient list is a mile long, yeah, there's probably going to be some issues with that. So um but, it's those are also things that have come from necessity, food deserts, are a big thing, in Oklahoma and in America, so I don't think it was a intentional disruption of our health, but in order to grow as fast as America did,
They had to cut some corners.
They had to cut corners and be smart about what things they thought they could put in there that wouldn't mess with art, you know? Because I'm sure there's a way to stabilize anything. Uh, Chemically, I'm sure it's terrible, but,
It's sort of a catch-22.
sure.
You got this big population and the simple way of doing things. So, I really agree with you as far as there's no villain, but there are, I don't know, when you become larger, it becomes mass production, anything, whether it's food or shirts or
Right,
whatever, it becomes, so how do I get this out there? And how do I get the most shelf life out of it?
right.
So I think there can be a balance, but it's not gonna be it's not gonna be easy.
No, it's not. And yeah, greed is a big part of our society right now. So, um, yeah, if you're a CEO making $2 million a year, and then you see a way where you can make an extra 250,000 by inserting this chemical that somebody told you was okay, it's a gray area that
It is.
I'm glad I'm not a part of.
It's funny, fast fashion. I haven't felt a shirt that was actually cotton in a long time. I wash it. Now you buy clothes. God, I don't want to put H&M on blast.
No, I mean, yeah, they probably deserve it. They probably deserve it.
You put on an H&M sweater and that thing falls apart like it's just biodegradable. It's one-time use. You have to buy 5 of that shirt in order to get a month's worth of wear out of it.
Yeah.
So, I think I sometimes rail against disposable culture.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. Yeah, I don't think throwaway culture is good. I think that's how you end up with, trash deposits and everything. But,
It shouldn't be the defining part of culture. If you have disposable culture, it shouldn't be the cornerstone of.
well, yeah, I mean, especially in the food world, it's tough not to have you have to use I have to use boxes every day.
Yeah.
I have to use paper towels every day. There are things that in order to run a restaurant, I just have to deal with using those products. Um,
Some of those boxes that you throw away, they end up in my art studio. I use
right on.
That's where I store the like my paints and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And being able to reuse things is great as well. I think yeah, it's awesome.
So how did you end up, or have you ever operated out of uh like we're in a gallery. Have you ever operated out of a gallery or
No, this is very new to me. I'm used to working nights like all the time. That's just how it goes. Restaurants are usually busiest at night, and so it's a really awesome opportunity for me to be here and to be able to have time to make my own pasta, have time to make my own gnocchi, and really experiment with things while working in a beautiful space. I mean, yeah,
oh yeah.
it's cool. It's very inspiring. I'm glad to be here. Um,
This
yeah,
first time I've ever done an artist in residency
yeah,
to where I lived on site. And I remember Susan coming to me. I was in this dark apartment downtown and she she said, "Well, Nathan, I I would trust you to live there. I want you to come look at it." And I said, "Susan, when I get someplace, I'm there. I'm gonna be there for." So I went. We're friends, and I didn't think I was really gonna live here.
yeah.
And then I saw the light, the sunlight, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sold." Yeah, she said, "You're working in too dark of a space. You're not. How do you even see what you're doing?" I had to take the economy version of an apartment because in that high rise, it was Park Harvey. So if I got the bird's eye view, I'd be paying maybe $300 more for the same apartment, and it feels very, I don't know, holistically, healing over there. So having this whole environment and her including a restaurant. I remember when she was talking about putting a bistro in and all of that. If you don't understand art, everybody understands food.
Sure.
And food as art,
Yeah.
that completely ties into what she was building as far as building community. That's one of her big missions is to build community through something creative. you know.
Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely built a space to do so.
She has.
That's awesome.
She has.
It's nice when people have noble aspirations like that.
Yeah. Takes help though. So,
For sure. Yeah.
more people need to know that it's here. And I think they will over time. You have growing pains and all of that. And I am seeing people start to walk in. So Zach, I'm gonna let you get down to business so that you don't get behind. But
Okay.
and I appreciate you sitting down
Yeah,
and talking. Won't be the last time.
for sure. Look forward to it again.
All right.
See you, man.
Take care, Milt.